ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna allazina taqaw, those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Iza massahum ta'ifum min shaitan, when big groups of shaitan attack them, tazakkaru, they turn towards me, they remember me, fa izahum mubsirun, and they save themselves from the shaitan. So the way to save yourself, to fight with the shaitan, is to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you remember, the first step of remembering is to pray 5 times a day. And the second step is you take time out for even more remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why in a hadith it comes that the shaitan says, Ahlaktun nasa bizzunub, that I have destroyed people. This is what shaitan says. I have destroyed people by making them commit sins. وَأَهْلِكُونِي بِلَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَالْإِسْتِغْفَارِ, and people have destroyed me by reciting La ilaha illallah and by doing istighfar towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by asking for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when somebody turns towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah's mercy descends. And it is not that if somebody has done few sins, then he is going to turn towards Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to help him. And the one who has done these many sins and he turns to Allah, Allah is not going to. It's not that. Whoever is going to turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, tazakkaru fa izahum mubsirun. The one who is going to remember Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to save him from the shaitan. So now, at whatever stage we are, we start remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is going to distance us from the whisperings of the shaitan. So the one who remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah ta'ala gives him this understanding of these whisperings. Whether this whispering is from the shaitan or whether this whispering is from the angels. Unless somebody does not remember, unless you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not be able to decipher, you will not be able to understand where this whispering is coming from. Is this from the shaitan or is this from the Rahman? So it is important that we spend time remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why when people go to the mashayikh, the first thing that they tell them, when people come to the mashayikh to learn the deen, the first thing that they tell them is that, okay, you should do astaghfar 100 times in the morning, 100 times in the evening. You should put you should send salawat on the Prophet ﷺ 100 times in the morning, 100 times in the evening. And the third thing they tell you is that you should recite the Quran. Recitation of the Quran is also the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are the ways in which you guard yourself from the shaitan.